Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, today we'll be having our 27th lecture, and that is also about corporate governance in developing and transition economies. But before we start our today's lecture, let's have a quick review about our last lecture. In last lecture, we introduced about the difference of corporate governance practices in advanced as well as developing nations. Then in globalization stands the standards of corporate governance from local to global perspective. We discussed companies now they have to shift the standards of local level to the global perspective or to the global standard. So developing nations should have to work hard. Means that developing countries में जो procedures है corporate governance के, that is not that much active or you can say effective. So they have to work very hard so that they can attract different investors to invest in the companies. Problems faced by developing and transition economies. Still in process of basic market institutions to regulate. Then we discuss internal honor as well as external honor. Inflow of new capital is not facilitated. Then lack of property rights, contracts violation and self-dealing are the core issues, and not just the owners and controller relationship. Developing economies may normally it's not just the conflict between the owner as well as the management, but there are certain other major issues that is related to property rights, contract violation and self-dealing among the management and the owners. So acts are there, but it is hard to implement. In developing economies, we can see that the written document or the acts are there, but the implementation, the problem of implementation is there. Judiciary, bureaucracy and regulatory bodies are not alert to stop corporate misgovernance. Another major problem is the judiciary, bureaucracy and the regulatory bodies that are not that much effective to stop the governance issues in the market. So the summary of problem faced these economies are low economic growth, public sector's dominance, that is corporate governance is for private sectors, then lack of effectiveness of privatization, lack of awareness among shareholders and government influence. Internal owners are more influential than external owner. We have discussed all these factors in detail in our last lecture. And more concentration toward family-owned corporations. Developing economies we have seen that more focus is toward the family-owned corporations. जिसमें normally the major part of corporations that is owned by the limited number of shareholders. And obviously they have some dealings with the management. So the management and the major shareholders can violate the minorities shareholders' rights. Lack of legal protection for investors, then no inflow of new capital, low property rights and contract laws, lack of well-regulatory banking sector, exit mechanism, bankruptcy and foreclosure, taking possession of mortgage property norms are absent, no sound security market, and then lack of competition, then we have corruption and mismanagement, then non-uniform guidelines by the government for all companies. Then we discuss some models in the corporate governance. The first model that we discussed was insider system. An insider system on majority of the company shares. They have some voting rights, power to monitor management, keep their investment for long period in the firm, then support decisions for long period of time. Dominant owners can use the firm's assets by concluding with the management at the expense of minorities shareholders. Inside a system, normally we can see where we have civil law system. We can take the example of Pakistan or India and some other countries. So इस मुल्कों में बेसिकली जो इनसाइडर सिस्टम होता है उसमें जो कॉर्पोरेशंस होते हैं नॉर्मली इन सच कॉर्पोरेशंस, पहली चीज़ तो ये है कि इन ममालिक में कॉर्पोरेशंस फैमिली बेस्ड होती हैं, जिसमें नॉर्मल मेजर शेयर होल्डर्स वो फैमिली मेम्बर्स ही होते हैं. देन वी हैव सम माइनॉरिटीज़ और स्मॉल शेयर होल्डर्स. सो जो मेजर शेयर होल्डर्स होते हैं उनका इन्फ्लुएंस होता है और दे हैव सम म्यूचुअल इंटरेस्ट विद द मैनेजमेंट. सो मैनेजमेंट और मेजर शेयर होल्डर आपस में डीलिंग करते हैं. दे हैव द वोटिंग राइट्स. शेयर होल्डर्स डायरेक्टली कैन वोट about the management decisions. So in this case, the irresponsible exercise of power resulting wastage resources and drain company productivity levels. So उसमें ये होता है कि because of the major influence of the some major shareholders, limited shareholders and the management, they work for their interest. And obviously minority जो शेयर होल्डर्स हैं उसके राइट्स वायलेट होते हैं. Outside the system, large number of owners hold small number of companies share, cannot monitor management, cannot involve in management decisions. Common law countries like UK, US own this system. Independent board members to monitor managerial behavior, more accountable and less corrupt, having disposed ownership structure with some weaknesses, looking for short-term maximization, and that is the main cause of conflict between directors and owners. जो outside the system होता है normally उसमें we can see that the company is having large number of shareholders owning a small portion of shares. मीन्स कि कंपनी में काफ़ी ज़्यादा शेयर होल्डर्स होते हैं और इसमें ये होता है कि इंडिविजुअल शेयर होल्डर कैन नॉट इन्फ्लुएंस द मैनेजमेंट एक्सेप्ट सम शेयर होल्डर्स जिनके पास स्पेसिफिक नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स होते हैं. सो और इफ दे आर द मेजर शेयर होल्डर्स, लेकिन दे कैन नॉट इन्फ्लुएंस द मैनेजमेंट डिसीजन. फॉर दैट दे हायर द बोर्ड. वो बोर्ड हायर करते हैं जिसमें दे हायर सम independent as well as dependent directors. So this sort of trend we can see where we have like common law countries like UK, US. अभी तक हम शुरू से जितना भी पढ़ रहे थे basically we were discussing the outside the system of companies. So उससे ये होता है कि जब आप बोर्ड हायर करते हैं जिसमें आपके पास इंडिपेंडेंट एंड डिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स होते हैं, so obviously you are बेसिकली उसमें अकाउंटेबिलिटी ज़्यादा होती है एंड देयर इज़ हैविंग लेस चांस ऑफ करप्शन बिकॉज वी हैव ऑलरेडी अपॉइंटेड एन इंडिपेंडेंट बोर्ड टू लुक आफ्टर देयर और टू लुक आफ्टर द बिजनेस एक्टिविटीज़. So having dispersed ownership structure with some weaknesses, so because of management और जो owners हैं जब वो एक दूसरे के साथ इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं होता ऑब्वियसली तो दैट क्रिएट्स द डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियंस. सो वही से आपकी गवर्नेंस इश्यूज क्रिएट होती हैं. इन द इनसाइड सिस्टम जब मैनेजमेंट और मेजर शेयर होल्डर्स आपस में एक दूसरे के साथ मिलकर काम करते हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ इफ दे वांट टू मेक एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ करप्शन तो वो करके सो इतने गवर्नेंस इश्यूज वो राइज बिकॉज दे आर वर्किंग फॉर ईच अदर्स इंटरेस्ट. Today's lecture outlines developing a corporate governance framework. There are basically three ways through which we can govern the corporation. The first one, Owners direct influence by selecting top management. Number two, owners delegate their rights to the board. The first one is normally done in the insider system. The second one, owners delegate their rights to the board, is done normally in the outsider system. Owners rely on the market mechanism of corporate control. सपोज टेक ओवर में जब एक कंपनी दूसरी कंपनी को टेक ओवर करती है तो ऑब्वियसली उसके बाद दे यूज देयर मैनेजमेंट स्ट्रेटजीज और उससे उसको वो कंट्रोल करते हैं. मॉडर्न कॉर्पोरेशंस आर डिसिप्लिन्ड by internal and external factors. We will discuss all these in detail right now. The institutional framework for effective corporate governance. कि effective corporate governance के लिए क्या क्या चीज़ें ज़रूरी है. The first we have like the property rights, like the contract laws, a well regulated banking sector, exit mechanism, bankruptcy and foreclosure, sound security, securities market, competitive market, that is external forces for companies' efficiency before they lose market share. Then the government, what the government should do, like they should remove barriers to entry, enact competition and antitrust laws, then eliminate protectionist barriers including monopolies, establish fair trade priorities, remove restriction on foreign direct investment, that is called FDI, favorable environment for business, less cost, easy start. Then we have transparent and fair privatization procedures, then transparent and fair taxation regimes, and independent well-functioning judicial system, anti-corrupt strategies, reform government agencies, strengthen administrative and enforcement capacity of government agencies. And we have like establish routine, a mechanism of participation, that is citizens, and investigate and well-informed media. So these are basically all the factors that we must have in the developing economies to have good governance procedures. Investigate and well-informed media, a societal and political force on institutions whose influence is consistently or officially recognized, that is then strengthening reputed agents, accountants, auditing professional, media, investment bankers, analysts, academicians, economists, credit rating agencies, activists, shareholders, institutional investors and NGOs. And sound stakeholder relationships are good for business. A misconception between profit and stakeholders. For example, breaking contract with suppliers can damage the firm's reputation as honest business partners. So corporate governance challenges in developing, emerging and transition economies, establishing any one of the institutions listed above, establishing rule-based, not relation-based system of governance, combating vested interest, establishing property rights system and that clearly and easily identify true owners even if the state is the owner. Then we have a relationship between the government and corporations, protecting and enforcing minorities, shareholders' rights, educating investors of their rights and duties, encouraging good corporate governance through cooperation with trade associations, cultivating technical and professional know-how. Successful strategies could be like one size does not fit all, means that one procedure or one technique or one strategy of corporate governance may not be compatible with the other environment. So if a strategy has been formulated in the Western society, so these strategies you cannot say will be applicable in the Eastern society. So corporate governance procedures in developed economies may not be applicable in developing economies. Current corporate governance settings in transition economies. In unstable microeconomic conditions, managers go for their own profit. Most firms are controlled by state. So a lack of institutions associated with successful market economies. Transition economies have to find a way toward a good corporate governance system. So these were the outlines. Now we'll discuss one by one. Developing a corporate governance framework. There are basically three different ways that owners maintain control over the work of management. The first one, the owners directly influence the corporate strategy and selecting or selection of the top management team. एक स्ट्रेटजी ये है कि जो ऑनर्स होते हैं, दे डायरेक्टली अपॉइंट द टॉप मैनेजमेंट. द ऑनर्स डेलीगेट देयर राइट्स टू द बोर्ड बट इंश्योर दैट कंपनसेशन एंड अदर इंसेंटिव्स आर अलाइन्ड विद द शेयर प्राइस मैक्सिमाइजेशन. दूसरी स्ट्रेटजी ये है कि नॉर्मली द ऑनर्स दे अपॉइंट द बोर्ड में, एज वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द आउटसाइडर सिस्टम, कि बोर्ड सिलेक्शन के बाद you form different committees जिसमें you allocate different dependent as well as independent directors, etc., etc. So basically you delegate or you form an independent board, you delegate your powers to the board, and then board work on your behalf. And the owners rely on the market mechanism of corporate control. In other words, the corporate governance mechanism can be both internal and external. Another thing is your internal and external forces that determine your control over the management. This is a sort of model which shows how the owner can control the management. Modern corporations are disciplined by internal and external factors. Internal factors like the shareholders, board of directors. So shareholders basically form the board of directors, as you can see in this diagram. The board of directors appoints and monitors the management. Then the management has to report again to the board of directors. You can see the arrow signs. And management has to perform the core functions or to perform the operating functions of the business. So in private we have the different stakeholders like reputed agents, we have accountants, lawyers, credit rating, investment bankers, financial media, investment advisors, research, and corporate governance analysts. External side we have regulatory standards, for example accounting and auditing, law and regulations. Financial sectors we have debt and equity. Financial sector we have competitive factors and product markets and corporate control. So basically this is how the owners can control the management with the internal as well as the external factors. So modern corporations are disciplined by internal and external factors. It can be observed from the illustration of the framework that there are internal and external forces that interface and interact with each other and have an impact on behavior and activities of corporations. So the internal as well as the external forces, they are interlinked with each other. That's how they can check on each other's, like the accountants, lawyers, credit rating agencies, financial media, etc., etc. On the other side, external, and on the other side we have the internal forces that influence the management or that check the management functions. The institutional framework for effective corporate governance. First one is the property rights. It is essential that property rights law and regulations establish simple and straightforward standards to specify clearly who owns what and how these rights can be combined and exchanged for recording requirement or required information in a timely and cost efficiency manners into an integrated publicly accessible database. Property rights we have discussed in previous lectures कि अगर if suppose आपके मुल्क में property rights strong है, so obviously this will attract other businesses into your economy. So the main problem in the developing economy is that normally you don't have the property rights in your economy. So उससे ये होता है कि जब आपके मुल्क में किसी किस्म की इन्वेस्टमेंट आती है तो obviously वो डरती है कि they will lose their property rights. Contract law. Very few business transactions will occur without legislation and regulations that legally guarantee and enforce the sanctity of contracts. Means normally in the transition economies, in the developing economies, अगर आपकी मार्केट में if the contract law का trend नहीं है, so obviously companies will feel fear to make any sort of contract either with the government or with some other companies. So the trend of government should be or the trend of contract should be there with the in your economy. A well-regulated banking sector. The banking sector provides the necessary capital and liquidity for corporate transactions and growth. Good governance within the banking system is especially important in developing countries where bank provides most of the finance. Banking system again is very important to have good governance in your economy. Basically trust the corporations, the businesses, so obviously they will not give any sort of loan to them. So अगर उनको loan नहीं मिलेगा, उनको पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे companies को, corporations को, so how they will make their business. So developing economies में the main problem is कि banking sector को trust नहीं होता companies में because of the unstable economic condition of the country or the market. तो मार्केट की कंडीशन स्टेबल नहीं है, सो ऑब्वियसली बैंक कंपनीज पे ट्रस्ट नहीं करती, उनको लोन नहीं देती, सो ऑब्वियसली दिस विल नॉट फ्लरिश योर इकोनॉमी, द डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमी. ऑन द अदर साइड डेवलप्ड जो इकोनॉमीज में ऑब्वियसली वी कैन सी कि वहाँ पर बैंक्स दे ट्रस्ट द बिजनेसेस, they give loans to the corporations, so obviously and because they are sure that they will get back their loan with their interest from the corporations or from the companies. So banking sector अगर अच्छा होगा तो obviously that will be good for the corporations in maintaining the corporate governance. अगर banking sector developed नहीं है किसी भी economy because of many reasons, so वहाँ पर you may feel or you may face some governance issues in between the firms. Exit mechanism, bankruptcy or foreclosure. Not all corporate endeavors succeeded. Legislation that established orderly and equitable clearing and exit mechanism is essential so that investment can be liquidated and reallocated into productive undertaking before they are squandered completely. Exit mechanism means कि जिस सोसाइटी में when the firms have a proper exit mechanism in case of bankruptcy, for example एक firm है और if they are not working well तो obviously and they are going toward the bankruptcy, वो firm ख़त्म होने वाली है. So अगर किसी इकोनॉमी में किसी सिस्टम में उसके लिए एक प्रॉपर मैकेनिज्म है, like we can see on the developed side कि वहाँ पर आप क्लेम कर सकते हैं, कोर्ट जा सकते हैं कंपनी कि हमारी जो इनकम है वो कम है एंड हमारी जो एक्सपेंसेस है वो ज़्यादा है. So we are claiming for the bankruptcy, means we are claiming protection for the bankruptcy. फिर कोर्ट उसको लीगली प्रोटेक्शन देते हैं, ठीक है, बाय फिर उसके जितने भी एसेट्स होते हैं या जितने भी उनके पास रिसोर्सेज होती है उसको वो सेल आउट करके देन दे पे बैक द क्रेडिटर्स. जो क्रेडिटर्स का जो डेट होता है उनको वो पे बैक करने की कोशिश करते हैं टू द मैक्सिमम एक्सटेंट. सो उसके बाद फिर क्रेडिटर्स का उस फर्म के साथ कोई लेन देन नहीं होता. और इन अदर वर्ड्स, सपोज ए कंपनी अच्छा काम नहीं करी, सो दे कैन इनवाइट सम अदर बिगर फर्म्स टू टेक ओवर देयर फर्म, ताकि उस कंपनी की हालत खराब है और वो डूबने से बच जाए. सो देयर आर मेनी सिस्टम्स थ्रू विच यू कैन गिव द एग्जिट मैकेनिज्म फॉर द you can use the word like drowning companies. On the other side, economies जहाँ पर weak है, like the developing economies, वहाँ पर कोई exit mechanism इतना as such नहीं है. You cannot take any sort of legal protection in case of bankruptcy. या अगर आपकी कंपनी डूब रही है तो कोई बड़ी कंपनी आपको टेक ओवर नहीं करेगी, बिकॉज उसको पता है द इकोनॉमी इज नॉट गुड. सो ऑब्वियसली अगर उस छोटी कंपनी को बड़ी कंपनी ने टेक ओवर कर भी लिया तो उसको फायदा नहीं होगा. सो देयर आर डिफरेंट रीजंस थ्रू विच यू कैन इनवाइट और यू कैन अट्रैक्ट डिफरेंट बिजनेसेस. लेकिन डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज में इतना ज़्यादा अच्छा एग्जिट मैकेनिज्म नहीं होता, like we can see in the developed economies. Sound securities market, efficient securities market discipline insiders by sending price signals rapidly and allowing investors to liquidate their investment quickly and inexpensively. साउंड सिक्योरिटी मार्केट मीन्स कि सपोज एक कंपनी मार्केट में काम कर रही है, सो ऑब्वियसली जो इंफॉर्मेशन इनसाइडर्स मैनेजमेंट कन्वे करती है इनसाइडर्स इन्वेस्टर्स को, सो ऑब्वियसली दैट इज़ मोर अंडरस्टैंडेबल, दैट इज़ मोर ट्रूथफुल, दैट इज़ मोर ऑनेस्ट, बिकॉज जो ओवरऑल जो मार्केट मैकेनिज्म है, जो मार्केट सिस्टम है, दैट इज़ फेयर. सो उससे ये होता है कि अगर मैनेजमेंट किसी किस्म की कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन देती है अबाउट द सपोज द शेयर प्राइस, अबाउट द फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन और एनी अदर थिंग, सो वो उससे क्या होता है कि बाकी जो इन्वेस्टर्स होते हैं वो अट्रैक्ट होते हैं. इट इज़ पॉसिबल व्हेन यू हैव गुड सिक्योरिटीज मार्केट. लेकिन सपोज अगर आपकी मार्केट ठीक नहीं है, इतना ऑनेस्ट नहीं है, इतना फेयर नहीं है, इतना ट्रस्ट वर्दी नहीं है, तो ऑब्वियसली जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन आती है फ्रॉम द मैनेजमेंट साइड्स, फ्रॉम द इनसाइडर्स, सो उस पे लोग इतना ट्रस्ट या भरोसा नहीं करते. कॉम्पिटिटिव मार्केट, द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ कॉम्पिटिटिव मार्केट is an important external control on companies, forcing them to be efficient and productive lest they lose market share or go under. Competitive market means कि suppose किसी सोसाइटी में companies if they see, अगर वो ये देखते हैं कि हमारी कंपनी की पोजीशन ठीक नहीं है, हमारी कंपनी की शेयर प्राइस ठीक नहीं है, या हमारी कंपनी बैंकरप्ट हो रही है, या हमारी कंपनी डूब रही है, so before getting into the worst situation, they can adopt certain steps to overcome their deficiency. Either they can adopt the step toward the takeover, कि वो किसी भी कंपनी को इन्वाइट कर सकती है, or they can take any other safety precautions. So competitive market में normally किसी भी किस्म का मिसहैप होने से पहले companies can take any sort of positive step or effective steps ताकि वो so that they do not lose the market share and so on. So competitive market में normally to this end government क्या रोल प्ले कर सकती है? Government can remove barriers to entry. Then suppose गवर्नमेंट जब बैरियर्स नई कंपनीज के लिए ख़त्म करेगी, सो यू हैव मोर कंपटीशन, उससे ये होगा आपकी ज़्यादा बिजनेस चलेगी और आपकी इकोनॉमी ग्रो कर सकती है. एनेक्ट कंपटीशन एंड एंटी ट्रस्ट लॉज, the government should enact competition and should discourage the antitrust laws in the market. Eliminate protectionist barriers, including the protection of monopolies. Protectionist barriers means कि government they should remove the protectionist barriers, that is like the tariffs, like the quotas. इस किस्म के barriers से ये होता है कि आप के मुल्क के अंदर, आपकी इकोनॉमी के अंदर बाहर की इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं आती. सो जितना आप किसी मुल्क में टैरिफ या जितने भी ये ट्रेड बैरियर्स होते हैं वो स्ट्रांग होंगे तो ऑब्वियसली बाकी की इन्वेस्टमेंट इतना आपको इनकरेज नहीं करेगी. जितनी भी मल्टी नेशनल कंपनीज हैं वो वहाँ पर जाने की कोशिश करती हैं, वहाँ पर अपना बिजनेस करती हैं जहाँ पर उनके जो प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट बैरियर्स होते हैं, जो टैरिफ रूल्स होते हैं, जो कोटा रूल्स होते हैं, वो इतने स्ट्रांग नहीं होते हैं. और वी कैन से देयर मे हैव लाइक अ फ्री ट्रेड in between the companies. So eliminate protectionist barriers, including the protection of monopolies. So जब आपके मार्केट में, आपकी इकोनॉमी में जब कंपटीशन बढ़ेगा तो ऑब्वियसली दिस विल डिस्करेज द ट्रेंड ऑफ मोनोपोली इन द मार्केट. एलिमिनेट प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट स्कीम such as subsidies, quotas, tax exemption, etc. This is what we have just explained, and this is called the protectionist barriers. The subsidies, quotas, tax exemption, etc. जितना गवर्नमेंट सब्सिडीज नहीं लगाएगी, जितना गवर्नमेंट दूसरे बिजनेसेस को ज़्यादा कोटा देगा, जितना गवर्नमेंट टैक्स एग्जेम्पशन देगी, so obviously this will encourage different businesses into your economy. And this is also very fruitful for the developing economies कि at least developing economies को इस चीज़ की तरफ, इस ट्रेंड की तरफ आना चाहिए. Remove restrictions on foreign direct investment and foreign exchange. Again, developing economies, they should attract or they should encourage the foreign direct investment and foreign exchange. Like we can see, we have the best example of Chinese government. China is basically a developing economy. Number one. Number two, that is a communist state. Communist states we have discussed in the previous lectures. Communist states may they normally do not encourage the foreign direct investors. लेकिन China ने, although their system is communist state, but they have adopted a free market economy trend for their business. So उसी की वजह से चाइना में जितनी भी मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज हैं, they are making their business. So they are now inviting different investors to invest in into their country, reduce the cost of setting up and running a formal business. Another trend is the developing economies में the government should encourage the business having less cost, and it must be very easy to start your business. So if you can go at the previous lectures, हम ये पढ़ चुके हैं कि developed economies में it's very almost easy to start your business as compared to the developing economies. Developing economies में you have more rules and regulations. इससे ये होता है कि that prevent to start your business in developing economies. Developed economies में you can see a very smooth procedures and very quick procedures to start your business. Transparent and fair privatization procedures. Having transparent, straightforward and fair rules and procedures stipulating how and when enterprise can be privatized is therefore essential. Suppose एक public sector है, एक government sector है और उसमें वो सही काम नहीं कर रहा, so the जो rules हैं and procedures हैं वो for privatization वो clear होनी चाहिए ताकि बाकी के investors उसको एक्वायर करके, उसको खरीद के उस कंपनी को उसको अच्छी तरह चला सके. Transparent and fair taxation regimes. Taxation systems should be reformed so that they are fair, simple and straightforward. In this regard, multi-step complex procedures on fiscal reporting that allow officials to exercise considerable discretion and therefore engage in corruption should be eliminated. So fair and transparent taxation procedures should be there in the developing economies. अगर developing economies में अगर आप if the government is having fair and transparent taxation procedures, so obviously the companies will come and they will be happy to invest into your economies. So if the procedures are so complex, so उससे क्या होगा कि companies they will feel fear about investing into your economy. An independent, well-functioning judicial system. One of the most important institutions of a democratic market-based economy is an independent, well-functioning judicial system that enforces law consistently, efficiently and fairly, thereby maintaining the rule of law. So we must have like a fair and well-functioning judicial system in the economy. So तब भी आपके पास आपकी सोसाइटी में आपकी इकोनॉमी में डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्रीज डिफरेंट कंपनीज इन्वेस्ट करेगी. अगर आपका जुडिशियल सिस्टम नहीं है तो ऑब्वियसली इट्स ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल टू लॉन्च योर बिजनेस इन द डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज बिकॉज ऑफ द fear of copyrights or the property rights or the trademark or the patents rights. So अगर ये rights सब obviously जब एक developing economy में एक business enter होता है तो obviously जो बाकी businesses हैं, जो छोटे businesses हैं, जो local businesses हैं या जो I can use the word of bad businesses, तो वो आपके कॉपीराइट्स को आपके जो पेटेंट्स हैं आपके जो ट्रेडमार्क हैं उसकी वो कॉपी बना सकते हैं. तो ऑब्वियसली यू मे हैव लाइक सब स्टैंडर्ड प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ द मल्टीनेशनल ब्रांड्स like you can see in here in Pakistan कि एक मल्टीनेशनल ब्रांड का शैम्पू है तो उसी के एग्जैक्टली उसी की कॉपी आपको मार्केट में मिलेगी, दैट इज ऑफ द चीपर रेट. तो ऑब्वियसली उससे क्या होता है कि उसकी मार्केट खराब हो सकती है. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, आपका ट्रेडमार्क आपके जो पेटेंट्स राइट्स हैं वो भी आपसे चोरी हो सकते हैं इफ द जुडिशियल सिस्टम इज नॉट देयर इन द मार्केट. अगर जुडिशियल सिस्टम स्ट्रांग होगा तो ऑब्वियसली द कंपनी विल कम इजीली इनटू योर मार्केट और वो बिजनेस करेगी. ऑब्वियसली दे विल नॉट बी फेयर, उनको कोई किसी किस्म का डर नहीं होगा बिकॉज ऑफ हैविंग स्ट्रॉन्ग जुडिशियल सिस्टम इन द मार्केट. एंटी करप्शन स्ट्रेटेजीज. द स्टेट शुड इम्प्लीमेंट इफेक्टिव एंटी करप्शन मेजर्स by specifying and streamlining legal and regulatory codes and clarifying laws on conflict of interest. Anti-corruption strategies must be clear and must be implementable. अगर वो if you cannot enforce the anti-corruption strategies, so obviously that would not be good for your economy, for your developing economy, to attract different businesses into your system. Reform government agencies that are excessively bureaucratic and inefficient need to be reformed. Bureaucratic rules play a very important role in any society as far as the business is concerned. अगर आपके bureaucratic rules regulations इतने complex होंगे तो obviously that will prevent investors to come into your market. लेकिन if your bureaucratic rules are very relaxed, तो obviously that will welcome different investors into your economy. Strengthen administrative and enforcement capacity of government agencies. Government should strengthen and maintain their agencies' administrative and enforcement capacity by cultivating a staff of well-qualified civil servants hiring and promoting staff based on verifiable professional standards, offering civil servants vocational training based on the latest technology, paying adequate salaries to attract well qualified professionals and to deter bribe taking, and offering tenure based on performance. Again, to attract businesses, you must have strengthened administrative and enforcement capacity of government agencies. You must have qualified experts, you must have qualified technicians, you must have qualified experts that can ease the way of the investors to make their business in your society. Establish routine a mechanism of participation to ensure that the new framework creates a level playing field. Citizens need to have ample opportunity to participate in grafting it. Now, an investigative and well-informed media. The role of the fourth estate, press, is ensuring corporate democracy cannot be overstressed and can be considered as important as its role in ensuring that political democracy functions as well as it is intended to be. Many scams in the corporate world would not have come to limelight but for the bold and upright investigation of journalists. A role of fourth state means basically it's a political influence that is not visible means. So press को इसलिए fourth base कहते हैं कि press can play a very important role in the corporate governance in the scandals because in the market because of the journalists investigation काफ़ी जो जितने भी बड़े-बड़े scandals rise हुए हैं that is because of the role of the journalist and the press. Strengthening reputed agents. Reputed agents are individuals and or group that reduces the information gap between insiders and outsiders by seeking providing information to outsiders about the performance of insiders and enterprises and by setting high professional standards and then applying peer pressure and at times sanctions to uphold them. Reputed agents can also refer to private sector agents, self-regulatory bodies, the media, civil society, and reduce information asymmetry, improve the monitoring of firms, and shed light on opportunistic behavior. So basically agents can play a very important role, and these are some of the agents we can use for the corporate governance. Self-regulation bodies such as accounting and auditing professionals, accountants and auditors can be used to attract investors or attract the companies into your economy. Media can play a very important role as well as investment bankers, corporate governance analysts, lawyers, etc. Academicians, economists, corporate analysts, credit rating agencies can play a very important role. Consumers, activists, environmentalists, activists, investors and shareholders such as institutional investors and venture capitalists and non-government organizations. So these are some of the you can say the reputed agents so that they can attract the businesses. Sound stakeholders relationships are good for businesses. A common misconception is that achieving profit and looking after stakeholders' interests are diametrically opposite goals. Basically misconception जो developing economies में है वो ये है कि कंपनी का profit achieve करना as well as stakeholder के interest को टेक केयर करना, दैट इज इम्पॉसिबल. सो उस चीज को द गवर्नमेंट शुड मेक सच स्टेप्स, इस चीज को खत्म करे, बिकॉज it is possible, and there is a you can see, or you can use the word of direct relationship between the profit of the company as well as the shareholders interest. सो कंपनी ये एज्यूम ना करे, एटलीस्ट मैनेजमेंट ये एज्यूम ना करे कि अगर हम ज़्यादा प्रॉफिट देंगे कंपनी को तो उससे ये होगा कि कंपनी को लॉस होगा, और दे वांट टू रेज द प्रॉफिट एट द सेक ऑफ द शेयर होल्डर्स इंटरेस्ट, सो दैट इज नॉट गुड फॉर द कंपनी. सो इन शॉर्ट वी कैन से कि कंपनी का प्रॉफिट रेज करना एज वेल एज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द शेयर होल्डर्स or the stakeholders interest, that is possible. So basically, or in other words, we can say that profit of the company and stakeholders interest, it's not a two-way traffic, basically not in the opposite direction. That is a one-way traffic that is on the same direction. Means you can get the profit for the company, and as well as you can take care the stakeholders interest. Operating fairly, responsibly, transparently, and accountably toward both shareholders and other stakeholders does more than improve a company's reputation and attract investment. It gives the corporation a competitive advantage. So जब जिस society में, जिस economy में, with the trend would be that the company can make the profit as well as they can take care of the stakeholders interest. अगर ये ट्रेंड होगा तो ऑब्वियसली आपकी सोसाइटी में, आपकी इकोनॉमी में काफ़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट आएगी, काफ़ी इन्वेस्टर्स आएंगे. लेकिन अगर दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ ट्रेंड हम देख सकते हैं इन द डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज. लेकिन डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज में द बेसिक प्रॉब्लम इज दैट दे थिंक देयर इज अ मिसकंसेप्शन दैट गेटिंग प्रॉफिट फॉर द कंपनी एंड टेकिंग care of the stakeholders interest is basically of opposite direction. They have opposite goals, so that's why that is not achievable, that we cannot achieve. So अगर ये trend होगा तो obviously companies आपकी economy में business के लिए नहीं आएगी. A company's treatment of other stakeholders such as supplier is just important to the company's long-term performance. A firm that breaks a contract with the supplier or pays unfair prices not only hurt the supplier but damages its own reputation as a reliable and honest business partner. For example, अगर कंपनी अपने सप्लायर के साथ ठीक नहीं है, सप्लायर इज अगेन अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेक होल्डर ऑफ द कंपनी, सो ऑब्वियसली होगा क्या, होगा ये कि आपकी सप्लायर के साथ रिलेशनशिप खराब हो सकती है, प्लस आपका रेपुटेशन, कंपनीज का रेपुटेशन एज अ गुड एंड हॉनेस्ट बिजनेस पार्टनर वो भी खराब हो सकता है. सो कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस चैलेंजेस इन डेवलपिंग emerging and transition economies. Establishing any one of the institution enumerated above is a necessary and challenging undertaking without which democratic markets and corporate governance cannot take root. So the basic challenges in the developing economies is कि basically जितनी discussion हमने ऊपर की है, जितनी institutions के बारे में, जितने steps के बारे में हमने discuss किए, उसको implement करना, that is one of the basic challenges for the developing economies. Some of the general challenges confronting developing, emerging and transition economies includes establishing a rule-based system of governance as opposed to the relationship-based. So the basic problem in the developing economy is कि यहाँ पर you will see most of the time relationship-based rules. अगर आप if you are successful in getting the rule-based system of governance, obviously this will attract different companies into your economy. Combating vesting interest means कि the companies or the economy or the government should combat the vested interest कि shareholder को अपना interest मिले अपना उसको राइट मिले, प्लस मैनेजमेंट का अपना इंटरेस्ट सेफ गार्ड हो. सो जब तक हर एक स्टेक होल्डर को अपना इंटरेस्ट नहीं मिलेगा, अपने राइट्स नहीं मिलेंगे, तो ऑब्वियसली उस इकोनॉमी में द कंपनीज विल नॉट कम टू योर टू मेक बिजनेस. Establishing property rights system that clearly and easily identify true owners even if the state is the owner. Property rights system clear होना चाहिए. One of the biggest problem in the developing economies कि अगर state किसी प्रॉपर्टी को ऑन कर रहा है, सो अगर वो उसको सेल आउट करता है तो ऑब्वियसली उसको दोबारा वो रीटेक नहीं कर सकता. So the property rights laws should be very clear and enforceable. Deep politicizing decision making and establishing firewall between the government and management in corporatized companies where the state is a dominant and a majority shareholder. So जिस मुल्क में जिस डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज में अगर डोमिनेंट शेयर होल्डर हैं या जिस यहाँ पे डोमिनेंसी गवर्नमेंट की है, तो वहाँ पर द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन द गवर्नमेंट एंड द कॉर्पोरेशंस मस्ट बी वेरी फ्रेंडली. लेकिन मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज में कंपनीज इसलिए नहीं जाती बिकॉज उनको ये डर होता है कि बिकॉज द गवर्नमेंट डोमिनेंस इज देयर इन द इकोनॉमी, सो दिस कैन हर्ट देयर बिजनेस. Protecting and enforcing minorities shareholders rights. Again, developing economies में जो minority shareholders या small shareholders उनके rights इतने protect नहीं होता, तो obviously this trend should be eliminated. Educating and enlightening investors of their rights and duties. The government should take step while educating the investors or the small investors about their rights and duties, encouraging good corporate governance practices and creating benchmark through cooperations with trade associations, promoting good governance within family owned and concentrated ownership structures, and cultivating technical and professional know-how. So these are some of the steps, some of the challenges of the developing economies कि जब तक वो इसको इंश्योर नहीं करेगी तो obviously it is very hard to attract companies and businesses into your economy. Successful strategies of one size does not fit all. Many international organizations are funding corporate governance initiatives that aim to put in place developed countries model of corporate governance. Means कि जो मॉडल सपोज वो डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज जो प्रोसीजर्स जो रूल्स कॉर्पोरेशंस को रेगुलेट करने के लिए वो अगर डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज में हैं, तो एग्जैक्टली वही चीज़ को डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज में इम्प्लीमेंट करना वुड नॉट बी a fruitful act, would not be a successful act. So the best thing is कि suppose if you have a very ideal model in the western society, so the best strategy would be कि आप उसको eastern society में with some modification according to your norms, according to your cultures etc. आप उसको modify करके and implement on your market. Critics complain that these Western-based organizations try to transplant system and procedures that are workable in the West but are unsuitable in the developing economies that have different culture, work ethics, employer-employee relationship, and so on. So this is the case. Current corporate governance settings in transition economies. Unstable microeconomic conditions create a situation of great uncertainty and shorten the time horizon in business. Under unpredictable economic circumstances, managers see their positions as temporary and uncertain, which leads to maximization their own profit instead of maximizing the company's profit. Developing economies में because of the unstable economic condition, managers क्या feel करते हैं that they feel some uncertainty about their job. So what they basically do, they work for their personal interest rather than the company or the shareholder. In transition economies, the most important firms such as public sector companies that contribute more to the nation's gross national product, employment, income and capital use than private sector firms are controlled by the states. Developing economies में जितने भी major businesses होती हैं that are basically controlled by the state. Again, the missing element in the context of corporate governance development in transition economies is the lack of institutions associated with successful market economies. The transition economies cannot afford the luxury of searching for new third way between socialism and capitalism. Instead, they have to find a way to accept the existing institutional portfolio and to take or to and to make it work in the specific culture, historical and economic environment. Each regime is in the different stage of establishing a democratic market-based economy and a corporate governance system. So because short we can say keep developing economies को they cannot make a very ideal sort of situation or rules. So they have to take some guidelines from the developed economies from their set rules all. अगर उसको जो रूल्स डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज ने बनाए हैं उनसे गाइडेंस लेके डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज कैन फ्लरिश देयर business pattern. So this was all about our topic, that is corporate governance in developing and transition economies. We introduction we discussed the corporate governance advanced versus developing nations, globalizations, 10 the standards of corporate governance from local to global perspective. So developing nations should have to work hard. Problem faced basically still in process of basic market institutions to regulate. Then we compare the internal owner as well as the external owner. Then inflow of new capital is not facilitated. Lack of property rights, contract violations and self-dealing are the core issues, not just the owners and the controller relationship. सिर्फ मैनेजमेंट और ऑनर का मसला नहीं होता है डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमी, बल्कि और बड़े इश्यूज होते हैं जिस तरह प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वायलेशन एंड मेनी मोर. Act are there, but it is hard to implement. Judiciary, bureaucracy and regulatory bodies are not alert to stop corporate misgovernance. Summary of problem facing these economies are lack of economic growth, public sectors dominance, that is corporate governance is for private sectors, lack of effectiveness of privatization, lack of awareness among shareholders, government influence, internal owner are more influential than external owner, and more concentration toward family-owned corporations. Lack of legal protection for investors, no inflow of new capital, low property rights and contract laws, lack of regulatory banking sector, exit mechanism, bankruptcy and foreclosure, that is taking possession of mortgage property norms are absent. No sound security market, lack of competition, that is corruption and mismanagement, and no non-uniform guidelines by the government for all companies. Then we discuss some models जिसमें हमने insider model discuss किया था as well as outsider system discuss किया था. Basic difference between these two is कि insider system में you have large shareholders owning large portion of the shares or the stocks. मतलब लिमिटेड शेयर होल्डर होते हैं लेकिन उनके पास कंपनी का बड़े शेयर्स होते हैं, ज़्यादा शेयर्स होते हैं, एंड दे हैव अ डायरेक्ट इन्फ्लुएंस ऑन द मैनेजमेंट. जहाँ पे सिविल लॉ सोसाइटीज होती है वहाँ पर हमें ये देखने को मिलता है. On the other side, जो outside the system में we have a large number of shares owning a limited number of stocks. कि ज़्यादा शेयर्स होने की वजह से इंडिविजुअल शेयर होल्डर इन्फ्लुएंस इफेक्ट नहीं करता मैनेजमेंट को. दे हायर द बोर्ड हायर करते हैं जिसमें डायरेक्टर्स होते हैं इंडिपेंडेंट, डिपेंडेंट, देन द कमेटीज, सब कमेटीज एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. So through the board they influence the management. So owners का direct influence नहीं management, so that creates the problem of corporate governance. Then developing a corporate governance framework, 3 ways: owner direct influence by selecting top management or by delegating their rights to the board. Owners rely on the market mechanism of corporate governance. Modern corporations are disciplined by internal as well as external factors. The institutional framework of effective corporate governance is property rights, contract laws, a well-regulated banking sector, exit mechanism, bankruptcy, foreclosure, sound securities market, competitive market, external forces for companies' efficiency before they lose market share. Government should do to make the market more competitive. What the government should do? The first thing, to remove barriers to entry, enact competition and antitrust laws, eliminate protectionist barriers including monopolies, and establish fair trade priorities. Protectionist barriers की quotas, subsidies and tariff वगैरह ज़्यादा नहीं होने चाहिए. Remove restriction on foreign direct investment, favorable environment for business, that is less costly and easy to start. Transparent and fair privatization procedures, transparent and fair taxation regime, an independent, well-functioning judicial system, anti-corruption strategies, reformed government agencies, and then strengthen administrative and enforcement capacity of government agencies, establish routine mechanism of participation, that is citizens, and investigate, and a well-informed media. Normally we call it the fourth state. Fourth state means a societal and political force or institutions whose influence is not consistently or officially recognized. Means कि press का जो influence है, that is officially recognized, लेकिन press can make very important role in the corporate governance. Strengthening reputed agents like accountants, auditing professionals, media, investment bankers, analysts, academicians, economists, credit rating agencies, activists, shareholders, etc., etc., and NGOs. Sound shareholders relationships are good for businesses. Misconception ये है कि profit generation as well as जो shareholders या stakeholders का interest वो एक साथ नहीं कर सकते. But this is a misconception. You can have a profit as well as the stakeholders interest at a time. For example, अगर आपका supplier के साथ if you have a very bad relationship with the suppliers, obviously उससे क्या होगा कि आपका relationship खराब होगा, and obviously this will hurt your honest business partner in the market. So corporate governance challenges in developing emerging and transition economies, establishing any one of the institutions listed above. जितने हमने ऊपर discuss की उसको implement करना, that is very challenging role for the emerging economies. Establishing rule-based system of governance, not relationship based. Combating vesting interest, establishing property rights system, and that clearly and easily identify the true owners, even if the state is the owner. The relationship between government, corporations, and protecting and enforcing minority shareholders' rights, educating investors of their rights and duties, encouraging good corporate governance through corporations with trade associations, then cultivating technical and professional know-how, successful strategies. One size does not fit all. Corporate governance procedures in developing economies may not be capable or applicable in developing economies. Then the current corporate governance setting in transition economies, in unstable macroeconomic conditions, managers go for their own interest. मेन प्रॉब्लम इन डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज में कि मैनेजमेंट को डर रहता है कि कंपनी फ्लरिश नहीं होगी, तो ऑब्वियसली दे ऑलवेज वर्क फॉर देयर इंटरेस्ट. Most firms are controlled by state. Again, one of the basic issue in developing economies. Lack of institutions associated with successful market economies and transition economies have to find a way toward a good corporate governance system. They cannot make their own way. That is very hard. Or in ideal situation, what they can do, they simply pick the governance rules and with some modification according to their norms, according to their culture, and implement on the corporations. This is the end of today's lecture. Allah Hafiz.